Hello and welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. Monday evening, a new week of sports is here, and these are the headlines. Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic gave us a great final at Indian Wells. The only problem is there can only be one winner. Djokovic is the one who did it. Diego Costa scores, Cristiano Ronaldo scores, Leo Messi scores and breaks a record. The leading three of the leading three are in fantastic form. Women achieved a lot of success on the field, but not so much on the bench and the front office. Very few women occupy posts of managers, owners, and CEOs. And it was not easy, but Miami found a way to win again. The dismal period began with a loss in Houston. Will the win against the Rockets bring it to an end? Hello again and thank you for joining us. We are live from the Jaffa Port. Monday night is our European football night and our tour around the continent begins in Spain. All eyes may already be on next week's Clásico, but the third team is also still up there. Atletico Madrid not giving up on their championship aspirations. It was not easy, but Diego Costa scored his 23rd of the season and made sure the 3 points stay at home. Atletico beats Espanyol 1-0. It was not easy for their city rivals either. Real Madrid traveled to Andalusia to face Malaga. It was scoreless until Cristiano Ronaldo got into action. 3 defenders surround him, but he's faster and stronger. The shot is good. Number 25 for the leader in the race for the Pichichi, enough to secure another win. The Madrid clubs had to struggle. For Barcelona, it was one of the easiest matches of the season. Osasuna came to the Camp Nou, and the only good thing for them is that they took part in a historic moment for the Blaugranas. Leo Messi came into this game knowing that he needs to score 2 goals to become the all-time leading goal scorer for Barcelona. 370 is the magic number. The historic moment came in the 63rd minute. Second for Messi, fourth for Barcelona. And bearing in mind that he's only 26, he still has so much time to score many more. The historic feat did not stop Barcelona. Cristian Tello made it 5-0 15 minutes later, and the new record holder will now set a new record with every goal he scored. The current number is 371. Messi finishing the game with a hat-trick. Just as stoppage time began, Pedro added one more. Barcelona wins 7-0 and looks ready for the giant match next Sunday in the Bernabeu. With 10 games to go, Real Madrid keeps the top spot with 70 points, 3 more than Atletico Madrid in second, and Barcelona another point behind. And with the Clásico set for Sunday night, everything can still change. Moving to England now, and a giant win for Liverpool on the home ground of their greatest rivals. So many times the Merseysiders took their heads down when Manchester United was on the other side. Well, not anymore. Liverpool wins 3-0 in Old Trafford, and manager Brendan Rodgers is very happy with his team and also quite surprised for what is happening to Manchester United.
I was probably surprised before the game when I'd heard that we were supposed to come into Old Trafford as favourites. I would never say that at Liverpool, even if I was bottom of the league. I think Anfield is Anfield. We expect to win. And we have a mentality now in the team that's been developing over the course of, well, the 18 months that I've been here, that we expect to win, home and away. And the belief is in the players now, and you see that in their game.
In the other match in the Premier League last night, Arsenal again won the North London derby against Tottenham, this time in White Hart Lane. It took just over a minute for Tomas Rosicky to score the winner for the Gunners. The other 89 minutes were nothing to write home about, which of course was great news for Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger.
It is a huge result. We are under pressure to win before the game because, of course, it was a very important game. After that, it was a mixture. I think our early goal a little bit, I think, influenced a little bit maybe too much the way we played, because we missed the second goal, and after that we wanted to protect the lead, and sometimes we were under pressure.
Leaders Chelsea lost on Saturday away to Aston Villa, meaning the race at the top is boiling hot again. Manchester City lost the FA Cup and the Champions League last week. But in the Premier League, they're strong in the race after beating Hull City 2-0. Chelsea are first with 66 points, 4 more than Liverpool and Arsenal, but both the Gunners and the Mighty Reds have a game in hand. Manchester City are 6 points behind the Blues, but with 3 games in hand, so everything could still change. This coming weekend, there is a giant matchup to look for. Chelsea will host Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. Moving now to France, where everything looks almost settled. Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored twice to lead Paris Saint-Germain to another victory, this time against Saint-Etienne. Zlatan is, of course, the leading goal scorer in France with 25 goals, 11 more than his teammate Edison Cavani, who is second. Monaco had to struggle before returning from Lyon with a 3-2 victory, and Lille only managed a goalless draw at home against Nantes. With 9 games to go, PSG holds an 8-point lead ahead of Monaco, and it's very hard to see what could stop them on the way to a second successive championship. Monaco will probably have to settle for second, and Lille still holding the place leading to next year's Champions League qualifiers. We take a trip now to Brazil as one of France's legendary players dropped by for a visit. Lilian Thuram, who was one of the key players in the French squad that won the World Cup in 1998, came to Brazil to talk about racism in football. The former Juventus defender was speaking at the Programa Africa Hoje in a Rio de Janeiro favela. Thuram addressed his anti-racism campaign there and admitted he was dismayed by a spate of recent incidents in Brazil. The 42-year-old Thuram won 142 international caps for France and retired in 2008 after being diagnosed with a heart condition. In many fields these days, women athletes gain the same recognition as men, tennis for example, being just one of them, but we see very few women coaches, CEOs and owners. Is it bound to change, or will this field forever be masculine dominated? Lise Barbaum tries to answer.
There are female football players, tennis players, basketball players, and even boxers. But you can rarely find female coaches, agents, or presidents of sports clubs. Few women manage to become coaches or sit in head office. Out of the 12 teams in the women's top division in France, only Montpellier, Soyo, and Juvisy are trained by women. At the Paris-based football club of Juvisy, Coach Sandrine Montivet not only has to fight on the pitch, but also has to battle for women who wish to work as coaches.
For Juvisy, it was already very important to reach the semi-finals 2 years ago. We stopped in the quarter-finals. It was one of our goals this year. So we reached now a semi-final. It's not enough, because when you start a race, it's usually just to go through it.
It is often difficult to combine sports with family life. As a result, many times women give up on their sports dreams. Being a coach is considered as one of the last masculine domains in sports, but some cracks are starting to surface. One example is Nelfi Ibanez Guerra, who leads a male football team in Peru's second division.
It's good to know that the coach has studied in Spain, that she's studied at Barcelona Football Club, and she's really applying that experience with us. What she's brought to the team has been very fruitful for us.
However, despite her sheer professionalism, the Peruvian coach is still an exception among her male colleagues.
I'm the only one, but I'd love to have more female colleagues in the game. I don't know if I've been very brave, but this comes to me very naturally. In all the countries I've visited, I've always been the only woman to coach a male football team. There are women coaches for the women's team in Germany, the US, and Japan, among others.
Ibanez Guerra is not the only woman to defy the odds. Sweden's Pia Sundhage is an accomplished coach, training the US and Sweden's women's national teams. Some major European clubs are headed by women as well. Margarita Louis-Dreyfus, widow of French businessman Robert Louis-Dreyfus, took over as owner of Marseille after her husband's death and was a key factor in citing Didier Deschamps as club manager in 2009. The same story goes for Karen Brady, as the 43-year-old businesswoman is now vice chairman of English Premier club West Ham United. In Italy, Silvio Berlusconi's daughter Barbara has landed a strategic position in AC Milan at the young age of 28. All these women inspire others in professional sports. In Saudi Arabia, Lina Al-Malina has founded a female basketball club, and maybe others will come in the future, as women coaches won't be considered a rare phenomenon.
Tennis now in the tournament at Indian Wells was one of the most surprising in years, with many top seeds going out as very early on, but there was nothing surprising about the two players who made it to the final. Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer already met once this year in the quarterfinals of the Dubai tournament. The Swiss won that game and went on to win the title. Just like then, the game here went all the way and it was as close as it can be. Federer won the first set, Djokovic won the second, and the third was only decided on a tiebreak. The world number 2 kept his cool and took the deciding set to win the game, 3-6, 6-3, and 7-6 to win this title for the second time in his career. The first one was in 2011. Federer may have lost, but he proved again that he still belongs to the top of the ATP. And obviously, Nola, who won his first title this year, has a lot of respect for him and for the other opponents he left behind on his way to glory in California.
You know, I needed to really be on the top of my game and very concentrated till the last moment in order to win, and that's what I've done. I'm very proud of my achievements during this tournament. I've played 3-4 matches in 3 sets. A couple of matches had to come from a set down, and mentally this definitely helps for my confidence.
So there were surprises along the way, but the winner is not surprising at all. Not exactly the same story in the women's tournament. Second seed Agnieszka Radwanska was the clear favorite against Flavia Pannetta, but the Italian, who was only ranked 20th in the tournament, had other ideas in mind. She beat the top seed, China's Na Li, in the semis, and she was not intimidated by Radwanska either. A delicate touch by the net and another winner do the job in the first set. Radwanska was suffering from pain in her left knee, which clearly bothered her movement. She was not really a factor in the second set. Pannetta wins 6-2, 6-1, and is now expected to climb to the 12th spot in the WTA ranking. This is the 10th title of her career, but the previous ones were all on small clay tournaments. None was as big as this. Now to the NBA and to the struggling champions who are facing something they've not really experienced in the past 3 years, a long losing period. Almost 2 weeks ago in Houston, the Heat lost to the Rockets, the beginning of the dismal period, leading to 5 losses in 6 games. Now that the Rockets came to Miami, it was payback time. The Heat were desperately looking for the win that would put them back on track again, but the Rockets are on the hunt of a better position ahead of the playoffs, and they were not planning to make it easy for LeBron and his friends. It was a very close game throughout most of the game. No team opened a substantial lead. 3.5 minutes to go in the third, and we're tied at 72. Still close in the fourth, and the one thing you do not want to do is give James Harden the open look. You know where that is going. Are the Heat on the way to a 6th loss in 7 games? Not this time. Veteran Ray Allen runs past the defense for the easy layup, putting the Heat on top again. He was the leading scorer for Miami with 25. The Heat closed the game with a 21-7 run to finally win again. Final score was 113-104. Heading off to France to the final stage of the Paris-Nice race. It was a beautiful day in Nice as the riders had a 128-kilometer stretch around the city to finish the race. But it wasn't all just fun and games. Just as the final sprint began, there was a crash in the peloton with world champion Rui Costa involved. The Portuguese had to be helped up onto his bicycle, but he managed to finish the stage and take second place in the final standings. Arthur Vichot of France sprinted to the win of the stage and finished third overall. The winner in yellow jersey was Carlos Bencatour, who finished with a 14-second advantage over Rui Costa. Crossing the border to Switzerland for some slalom ski action. The Lenzerheide ski resort was a spot for the Giant Slalom World Cup, and Felix Norrheuter had a promising start. The German had some fine technique on the slopes, and he had to fight big names like Olympic champions Ted Ligety and Frenchman Alexis Pinturault. Would it be enough for Norrheuter? Apparently not, because he finished only third. And then came Marcel Hirscher. The men's slalom world champion was just too fast, showing why he's the best in the world, taking the overall World Cup title for the 3rd straight time by finishing 4th on the day. Now to motorsports and to the latest NASCAR race, this time in Bristol, Tennessee. Weather delayed the start for nearly 2 hours and rain stopped the race again in the middle. When it resumed, it was quite a physical affair. David Reagan collides with Michael McDowell. His car spins, but he regains control to keep on racing. Number 4, Kevin Havrick, had quite a solid race at the beginning. We will get back to him in just a second. Some drivers had trouble seeing. Solid race for Haverick, we said. Well, that's until he blew a tire, which caught on fire. Nothing to worry about. He walked out safely. Carl Edwards prevailed to come out as the winner in Bristol. And we'll finish today with a Big Apple. Lady Liberty was standing tall as it hosted the New York Marathon. The early morning start meant frosty conditions, which remained cold in the shadow of Manhattan's tall buildings. The route took the runners around Manhattan to the Hudson River waterfront, Lower Manhattan, and Battery Park before finishing in Wall Street. Mo Farah was the favorite, but he only came out second. Kenya's Geoffrey Mutai was first with a time of 1 hour and 50 seconds. And that's it for today. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget you can watch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.